So that's the default pattern. Again, is sacrifice myself to make other people happy, because making other people happy, putting other people first, means that I can secure my relationship. This is the default pattern. That was the choice that you made in childhood. You only had two options. If I express my emotions, it threatens my attachments, so I gotta choose. Do I sacrifice my attachments, or do I sacrifice myself? So there really is no choice.
Hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your podcast host Keegan, and this is your podcast for all mental health, addiction, recovery issues, and topics. And we've got a special guest today. We spoke to him back in June. You may have heard the episode back in June, but his name is Julian Bermudez. He is a therapist and a guide who helps people reconnect with their most natural state of being present, alive, and whole. His work blends somatic awareness, deep listening, and the integration of psychedelic experiences into a grounded, everyday practice of healing. So, Julian, how are you doing today?
Fantastic, Keegan. Thanks for having me again.
Of course. It was an awesome conversation we had last time about really diving into childhood wounds and the stuff like that, because we can't really heal if we don't know what we're trying to heal, right?
That's right. Usually the first step that we take here is taking the inventory of all the things that are causing us pain or to suffer. Acknowledging it, recognizing it. Those are the first steps.
Yeah. And I mean, whenever you say recognizing it, a lot of us would probably say we know it, just because we're experiencing it, right? But would you say that that's really the case?
Well, we might notice that something's happening, yes. And there might even be a part of us that knows that something's not quite right here. So we might be stuck in a default pattern, a default loop. The same circumstances, situations keep coming back around. And it's the same pain over and over and over again. And so we might say that we know that very well. But then there's also the part of us that says, and something's not quite right. I need to heal. I need to whatever it is. So there's the part of us that knows that we're off the rails. So we might know it, but we don't know it. We can see it coming up, but why it's here. What's it trying to teach us? What does it need in order to be processed, soothed, and to be at rest? Those are things that we're talking about.
Ooh, okay. So that in its whole entirety, that could be called integration, correct?
Yeah, taking that information, right? Not just knowing it, not just understanding it, but then actively applying it. Making choices on a daily basis to take that teaching, that lesson that I was just mentioning, and to apply that into your life. We would call that the integration.
Gotcha. So that sounds like a lot of work, though, having to sit there and kind of dive into an inventory of sorts and then figure out what choices I have to make every day afterwards to change myself. But that's kind of how it goes, right? Is there any easy way around that?
Yeah, this is you're hitting the dichotomy here that so many people are in right there. It's a lot of work. I don't want to do it, and I'm bitter and resentful that I have to do it. That's very common. I see that with a lot of people, and I've been there myself. Then we could ask the question of, well, if living life with awareness, being present with the experience of life, being attuned and connected to it, exercising agency and choice. So that way we can experience and dance with life and navigate life in ways that are authentic to who we are. If we call this work and we say that we don't want to do it, well, then what is the point? What do we want to do?
Ooh.
Because if being free and liberating ourselves from these old patterns and constantly making choices, having the ability to make choices rather than being stuck in those default patterns. We're kind of at the whim of those old patterns, our old conditionings, the environments that we developed in. So if claiming liberation and freedom isn't what we're actually wanting, what is it?
Ooh, I'm loving that kind of questioning because it's helping someone actually be able to sit there and make them draw up their own conclusion, whatever it is that they want, right? Because in a sense, you're right. If someone wants to call it work, it's going to be work. But at the same time, what is anything but work in some sense? right? Because even play is a work in some regard because energy is being output, and there's no real way to sit there and be like, I'm going to keep this little bit for myself. Whenever we're trying to change and do the disintegration and stuff, if we're really wanting that output to be different, if we are trying to change our situations and all that, then how can someone look at it through a lens that isn't something that they must suffer through?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're really, again, nailing it here, which is these default patterns, again, we might know them, but here again, we might be stuck in it and not even be aware that we're in this pattern. So the lens that we're looking through, the worldview that we're seeing ourselves and what we're engaging with, this dictates so much of our experience. So we could say, yeah, it's work and I don't want to do it and it's bitter and it's nasty. Where did we learn that from?
Yeah.
Where did we learn that to participate in life and to exercise choices is dangerous, threatening, suffering, tiresome, laborsome, overwhelming? See, these are those same familiar patterns, again, just showing up in a new way. Now, I don't know about you, but like when I'm doing something that I really enjoy, playing with my dog, for instance, doing things with my dog, which I do a lot of things with her just so she can live her life. I don't see that as work.
Yeah.
When I'm doing something that I really enjoy, like playing an instrument, there's a lot of work that goes into it to develop the dexterity, the strength, the mobility, the knowledge to know what to play, how to play it, when to play it, kind of deal, to know your place in the band or in the orchestra. This is all considered work, but I never once find that as something that makes me tired or drains me or overwhelms me. Why is that? Well, it's the relationship that I have with what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, relationship as in you're putting out and you're also getting back from it, correct? You're not just putting out effort tirelessly, endlessly, correct?
Yeah, you can look at it as in like checks and balances, ins and outs, gives and takes. But I think that relationships are much more and much deeper. Like when you connect with somebody that you really care about, like my dog, for instance, I don't ever think of it as I'm giving something to get something. See, again, we could ask, where did I learn this type of dynamic in a relationship? When I was a kid, for instance, was my acceptance, my approval, my relationships dependent on what I could be and what I could provide? In other words, were my connections conditional?
Yeah.
That's most of the times where we learn that. So when I'm doing something that I really enjoy, when I'm present with it, or with a person like my partner, or with somebody that I'm working with, I never once really see that as draining or tiring or labor inducive or difficult. I mean, it can be challenging, yes. But I'm doing this because there's this, it's very difficult to explain here. Like Joseph Campbell describes this as bliss. This flow state of being in line with something that's happening here, and there's a participation in this experience. And that's what I'm talking about getting to, is this, we could call it bliss of, when you come around to the same pattern that you've been in multiple times in your life, and the outcome has always been the same, and it's caused you to suffer or caused you to experience pain, and then you recognize that pattern and you make choices, and then the outcome of that situation is completely different. What do you experience there?
Ooh, confusion usually, right?
It could be. It depends on what the outcome is.
Yeah.
Right? The confusion's like this mental state of, I don't really understand what's happening here. But what I find most of the times is, even if it doesn't work out the way you want it to, being able to step outside of that old pattern induces a lot of joy. We're getting closer to this bliss state again. So this is the idea here is, yeah, it might take effort. you might have to be present and be aware, and being present and aware can be very threatening to a lot of people. But again, this is getting in line with, well, then what is the point of living life? Do we want to be on autopilot? Do we want to be numbing out and zoning out all the time? What do those things do for us? And what would it look like to do something different? And yeah, it can be very difficult, and, it can be overwhelming, especially in the beginning. But the reward of being in control of your own life rather than being a victim of all the things that are happening, I think is what a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah, I would have to agree on that, because in a sense, whenever I was going through my shit, whenever I was in my addiction really bad, I was sitting there and I was just trying to run away from everything to the point to where it was, I was better off dead, essentially. That's what I thought, that's what I believed. But there's no real numbing anything. Like, alcohol does a great job at it, and other substances do the same. But that's the thing, is that, like you said, it just numbs it out, and that's not really living. And there's a point where something requires change, and I don't necessarily know what that is, per se. For everyone, I would assume that it is different, and other people would have different names for it. There is a part of us that is somewhat broken and wants to be healed. So whenever we're doing this healing and whenever we're doing this work, a lot of us may not give ourselves credit in some way, shape, and form, because we may think that we're only doing things to get out of that pattern, per se, right? And not for something else, maybe?
Yeah. Well, the way you just described it is the pattern. So the addiction, what was the thing that the addiction provided? I mean, you just said it, but just to be clear, what did the addiction provide for you? What did it do?
It was numbing everything out. It was helping me essentially not be, because I would rather be dead. So,
Okay. Numbing, not be. So a disconnect. Whatever was happening here in the present moment was too painful, unbearable, or overwhelming, and therefore you needed to numb it and to disconnect from it. Yeah, this is the pattern right there. And this is where we're getting back to the trying to get away from what is. So even here, what we're talking about of reclaiming awareness, being present, making choices, we still say, no, I don't want that. So again, we can know the pattern, but we don't know the pattern, because here it shows up again in a new way. It's the same thing of trying to get away from the present moment. So building this ability to be present, to be with the experience of whatever it is that we are trying to get away from, this is a big part of the practice.
Yeah.
And I don't think that anybody's broken. I think that we go through pain and trauma. Things happen to us, but we're so much more than the things that happen to us. And the ability to be present, to grow, to heal, to be whole, all of that's inside of each and every one of us. And what happens is just like you described a moment ago, is we get disconnected from it. We lose it. And so when somebody is healing an addiction, what do we call that?
A healing an addiction?
Yeah, when somebody's healing an addiction, they're in what? What is it?
Recovery.
Precisely. And the word recover means to find something that you've lost. So when you heal from an addiction, when you're in recovery, what exactly is it that you're finding that you've lost?
Your old self, essentially, right?
Yeah, it was who you were before all that pain. And so if we're constantly disconnecting from ourselves, disconnecting from the present moment, then we get to that point where being present is so painful, I'd rather be dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's straight to the point. I mean, because whenever I think back to it now, it's still painful. It's still one of those things that it's like, I don't think, because I'll never claim to be healed. I don't think there's a such thing. I think that there is certain stages of healing in certain areas of life, but I don't think one is ever fully healed unless it is like a physical kind of thing. But even then, that's debatable, right? Because a lot of times you'll have a scar or something, But thinking back to just the root of everything, the wanting to disconnect, the wanting to not be here kind of thing, it's weird that this can still cause distress and the pattern shows back up, even though the healing or the recovery has begun, right? So it's kind of like a spiral. It's not a straight line.
Yeah, it can be. And yeah, if there's pain that's here, and if it's still causing distress, then what that indicates is that we haven't learned how to navigate pain yet. Right? And so really learning how to navigate whatever it is that we're experiencing, whether it's the pain, the lows, or the highs, that's the key. Because if the thing that the addiction gives us is an escape, a numbing, a disconnect, well, then what we have to do is learn how to be present with what was there, so that way we don't need the addiction. And, whether or not we can be healed or not, again, we're talking about that lens of, is this work, and what's our relationship with it? Yeah, I mean, that can happen. Frodo gets stabbed by a Mogul blade, and the wound never heals. And you might get a scar. But scars, when you get wounded, they become stiff, rigid, numb. You can't feel very well. Sometimes even overly sensitive and painful. But if you take care of that scar, if you really nurture that scar, if you rehab that area and you exercise and you stretch that scar, you can become more flexible. The stiff, rigid scar can become soft, and the range of motion can increase. You can regain your feeling, or that intense pain and sensitivity can decrease the more you nurture it and the more you work with it. And when we're talking about trauma, things like addictions, that's what we're talking about, are emotional, psychological scars. And the more that you nurture them and take care of these wounds and scars, yeah, I mean, we can say maybe they won't ever be healed, but maybe they can be.
Yeah. Okay. And so how do you help someone with that healing, with their recovery in a sense? Because for myself, I know that one of my biggest blocks, and I may be speaking for more people than I realize on this end, but I have a hard time letting myself cry. Even if I'm by myself, even if I know I'm on the tipping point, I am on the verge of having a breakdown, I still can't cry. I'll still sit there and just be like, and bam. All right, and I'll sit in the feeling, I'll try to get it out sometimes, and it'll just go, whoop, just feeling gone, and I can't get it back, and it's like, well, it was there, it was fleeting, and it's gone, and I'm back to my masking self. Like, how does someone not do that with themselves?
Yeah, I think you're describing a pattern that a lot of people feel, especially men. So we could ask here, what purpose? We're talking about a defense. Then here is the pain, the sadness is here. It's about to come out, and then something happens.
Yeah,
there's some sort of barrier, some sort of defense, and then the emotion, the feeling, and the sensation of crying goes away. So what we could ask is, what purpose do you think that defense serves?
Ridicule would be the first thing that kind of comes
up. Ridicule. Okay, very good. So was there ever a time in your life where, if you had emotions, if you cried, for instance, you would be ridiculed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And what's the consequence of being ridiculed?
Getting in trouble or feeling rejected. So
terrific. So punishment. So if you're in pain and you express the pain, then you get punished for being in pain, and you get more pain. And then you get rejected, exiled, disconnected, meaning that the thing that's most important to you, the thing that you need the most when you're in states of pain, connection, is what's going to get withheld or taken away from you.
Ooh. So, So
from that sense, the defense mechanism makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. And so it's kind of almost counterintuitive, though, isn't it?
Now, the next question is, where'd you learn that?
From my childhood.
From your childhood, precisely. Yeah. So it's counterintuitive, yes. How old were you, do you think, when you developed this defense mechanism?
Like 3.
We're talking about the mindset of a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
This is a 3-year-old part of you that stepped up when you were experiencing emotions and said, okay, if we express these emotions, bad things are going to happen. We're going to get ridiculed. We're going to get punished. We're going to get disconnected. And at 3-year-old, you need connection more than anything. You can't survive without it. So of course it's counterintuitive because it's a 3-year-old's worldview.
Sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at that. Like, it is just funny whenever you put it like that, though.
I mean, that's exactly how it is. And yeah, it's really important to find the humor in these things. But yeah, see, we can know these patterns, but we don't know these patterns. And now what we can start to see is when that emotion is coming up, when the pain's there, and when the tears are right there, and you can feel the defense mechanism suppressing it and pushing it away. You can say, there's my trusted old friend, my 3-year-old who's trying his best to help me out right now. Now, let me ask you a question then. When you were 3 years old and you were being ridiculed, punished, disconnected, exiled, what did you really need?
A shoulder to cry on, really. You know?
Okay. Someone to be there. If there's going to be a shoulder to cry on, there's got to be somebody there.
Yeah.
Somebody to be there. What is this support? What does someone to cry on look like?
Someone that understands and has patience.
Okay, perfect. Understanding. So somebody to see you, to know, to hear, to listen.
Yeah.
To see and to listen to what you're going through. And to understand, oh, Keegan, you're in so much pain right now. And then you use the word patience. Is that like acceptance? Like they accept that you're going through it?
Kind of, because whenever I have like the ugly cry, I can't talk. So I can't express myself. I can't say what is actually bothering me.
Sure, like what 3-year-old could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you feeling right now?
It's hard to say. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. Confusion's the mental state.
Yeah.
That's the form of disconnect.
Yeah. So I feel that joy for sure, because I do find the humor in it. A part of me is sitting here going like, can't believe this is live stream. Like, hope no one's watching right now. But at the same time, like, this is, it's freeing, but at the same time, it's like, also, one of the things that pops up is like, this is so silly. How can I not do this by myself? Does that make sense?
So what are you doing right there? First thing is, I can't believe this is live stream.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, and how can I not do this on my own? So what's happening there?
Already kind of doing the same thing that I've been doing to myself before.
Which is
that ridicule and disconnect or punishment.
Ridicule, punishment, disconnect, so judgment, evaluation, criticism. So all those things that you were afraid that were going to happen when you expressed emotions, the ridicule, the judgment, the punishment, the disconnect. Who's the one who's really doing that? Yeah. So in other words, when you were 3, you went through pain. Trauma is what we would call this, being that the people who were closest to you who were supposed to help you go through the difficulties were the ones who were causing or contributing to, at the very least, the pain that you were in. So you learned that pattern of how they treated you. And now that pattern continues because you've internalized that as maybe a mistake for what connection looks like.
Ooh. Ow. Oh. Okay. Oh. Damn. That answers a lot of questions right off the bat, too.
Yeah, what was that right there? I saw you put your hand over your heart, it looked like.
Yeah, just because, like, ouch. Like, that's kind of a, like, oh, that, if I, in, just a second. There was a point, in my recovery where I recognized that at some point I had attributed love equaled pain, that for some reason you cannot love if you do not suffer at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, where did that come from? I was like, but is that true? And part of me is like, oh, this makes a lot more sense of where that belief kind of even started from. Oof. Ouch.
The Offspring song, Self-Esteem, the more you suffer, the more it shows you really care.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, being in one of those negative feedback loops of mistaking abuse for connection and love.
Yeah.
And that's very easy to do because we learned that somewhere. And from what you've told me, you learned it at a very early age. So now the question becomes, this pain from the past is still here. These patterns are still here. This defense that you have, this 3-year-old part of you is still standing up saying, I can protect us. Now, we know exactly what you needed when you went through this pain. So the question becomes, who's the person who's going to have to do that? All those things that you needed that you didn't get, who's the person who's going to have to give them to you? Now?
Me.
Right. Yeah. So when that pain comes up, your natural default pattern is to do what with it?
Shove it away.
Yeah. And why do you shove it away?
Because it's easier to numb away and disconnect, and that is a form of love for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Shove it away. Default pattern. Judge. Criticize. Punish. Exile. In other words, continuing the same way that you were treated when the pain developed in the first place. So now you're at a junction of choice. You can keep doing that. And a lot of people do choose to continue doing that. It's the familiar pattern. It might be very painful, but at least, hey, we don't have to step outside of that.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to do something new. And the something new is looking like all those things that you needed that we just identified. You can practice giving yourself those things.
Yeah. So how would one start to do that in such a way that it resonates with their younger self?
Yeah. Well, you kept going like this when we were talking. You kept feeling something there. So I assume that there's a physical feeling that's associated with this pain that we've been talking about.
Whenever it comes to rejection, yeah. Rejection and stuff actually causes a physical manifestation of pain in the chest. So,
what does it feel like?
Sharp pain, like a stab.
Sharp, like a stab. Okay. How long's that been there?
Ever since I can remember, really.
Okay.
So
early childhood. About the same time that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where the pain lives. That is right there. That's the 3-year-old that we were talking about who still lives inside of you.
So do you talk to that part of you, or?
Maybe. When I asked you what did you need, you didn't say somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
In fact, that might have even been distressing because you were afraid that you wouldn't be able to communicate the right way.
Yeah. So essentially just, I need to be there for myself. So just be there for myself?
And that's a start. Because you really needed somebody to be there for you. Right? But you also needed somebody to really see you. Because your parents were there, right? You had parents that were physically there, right? But they weren't emotionally there, obviously, from what you've said so far. And in fact, the emotional connection that they had sounds like it was quite a painful one.
Yeah.
So just being there, doesn't cut it. What you needed was somebody to be attuned to your emotional experience. So when you go to your parents and go ahead, let's hear it.
Oh,
you got something there.
No, that would just make sense because hear me out. A lot of guys fall for the one that got away or whatever, but I think it's the one that they feel is the one that kind of sees that younger self. Does that make sense? Like
you're getting into something really important here, which is when we have these wounds from the past that are based on unmet needs. Like we said, we very much confuse compassion, connection, attachment for abuse. So we always look for the people who are going to neglect and not be able to meet our needs in the way that we need, just like our parents couldn't.
But, oh, damn. So in a sense, I'm responsible for that end of the pain, though. Because I chose to go after it consciously, right?
Did you? Did you make a choice? Did you consciously know that you were trying to fulfill these unmet needs from people who could not give them to you?
No.
No, of course not. See, there's the judgment again, isn't it?
God. Yeah.
See, we know these patterns, but we don't know these patterns.
Shit. Yeah.
So let's get back to what you were just asking a moment ago, which is, what can I do with this?
Yeah.
And you said, do I just be there for it? And that's not it. It's just being there. Because, yeah, I mean, we can chase partners who can be there, but they're not there for us in the ways that we really need.
No.
So what we really needed was somebody, from what you've said too, was we needed somebody to be attuned to our experience. Somebody to see, somebody to hear, somebody to understand. So when you go to your parents and you're in pain or you're scared, you say, Mommy, Daddy, I'm so scared. And they say, get out of here. There's nothing to be scared of. They've invalidated, judged, criticized what you were going through. And then you learn, well, feeling that way gets me disconnected. So that's bad. But if you go to them and you say, Mommy and Daddy, I'm scared. And they say, oh, yes, it's scary out there. Come, let me hold you. Come. What are you scared of? What is it that's scary to you? What is it that's threatening? Come here, let me hold you. Let me go through this with you. Let's navigate this fear together. This is a completely different experience.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to learn how to do. So you needed somebody to be with you, somebody to see, to hear, to understand what you're going through. And so when you feel this pain, and the default pattern is go away, I don't like you. Right? We're doing the get out of here. Yeah. So instead, let's make it a priority, just like you should have been. Let's scoop it up. Let's spend some time with it where we're not going to be distracted with our phones or with the internet or with anything that's going on. All that can wait. And even if we just spend 5 minutes just seeing this pain, listening to it, connecting with it, being attuned to that emotional experience, meaning that we can allow it to be there and we can feel it with this part of us that still carries it. And we can be patient and accepting like you needed and say, oh, of course you feel that way. Of course. Come. Let me be with you. Come, it's safe here. You don't have to worry about getting punished or exiled.
And yeah, it's interesting that you were saying that because before we started this recording session, I was spending time in my sacred spot, and I had that kind of revelation to myself. I was like, I need to have at least, like, not a full day, but at least some time in the week to just have nothing going on, like with technology, no trying to be productive, no trying to do anything, just kind of trying to be present and really getting connected with myself and trying to figure out what's going on, because I was like, I know I'm on the brink. I know I'm on like the tipping point of having a breakdown, but I was like, I just don't know how to I can't go up and push myself off that ledge because then that just makes me not trust myself, right? So I was like, I don't know how to navigate these kind of things. Maybe I'm just lucky that I've done enough work to recognize that I need the work, and I may not be able to say at the moment that I've had enough experience in some things, but I can say that I'm more willing and accepting of more experiences to come. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you can recognize when things are getting overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can recognize that there's something to engage with here.
Mm-hmm.
So you were mentioning that you needed a day is where you started, but then you negotiated with yourself and said, well, not a full day, maybe just part of a day, where I can really work on what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said, a time where I don't need to be productive, where I don't need to try to be productive. What does being productive do for you?
Well, I know a lot of people would probably not like what I'm about to say, but having a good work ethic or so, or trying to be a workaholic, is really just a form of escapism or trying to run away from something. And I can get into that kind of rut, I'm trying to produce because in a form, that is another way that I've been programmed, is that I have to produce to have outside validation.
Okay, so that's what it does for you. It helps you escape the pain by giving you outside validation. So if you can produce, then you'll be good enough. Okay, so that negative feedback loop that we were talking about with the 3-year-old, where it was just like counterintuitive, it just showed up again, didn't it?
The fuck? Yeah.
I need to be important, so I'm going to distract myself with output so people will validate me. And then there was a part of you, another part that said, no, I need a day to myself where I can take care of myself. So there's a bit of a internal conflict happening there. Or perhaps not even a conflict, it's a dialogue. There's a negotiation that's happening there. You got that 3-year-old who's saying, I need external validation. If I do the things, then I get what I want. And then there's this other part of you that's saying, I need to take time to give myself those things.
Yeah. You're right in the sense that it's more of a dialogue. Because whenever I grew up, I learned kind of how to not really say I unless I'm speaking with someone else. And I had this question asked to me a few months ago, and it was, why do I refer to I as we? And I was like, because I'm really not too sure at the moment. I had a good reasoning back then, but now I'm kind of like, I think I did that because I needed a friend at the moment. I think I needed something like that. I needed a mentor of a sorts. I needed a role model, and I kind of stepped up for myself, but I didn't know who adult me should have been. And so I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just me conversing with myself, trying to figure everything out.
Yeah. So you needed, what would a role model, what would a mentor give you?
Guidance, but in the same light, whenever people have asked me like who've been my role models and stuff, and it was like, well, I never really had many besides like my parental figures, and that was kind of it. So maybe that's where I messed up, not broadening my horizon.
Yeah, I needed a role model that would give me guidance. That sounds very similar to those things that we were talking about that you needed that you didn't have.
Yeah.
Connection. Somebody to be there with me, somebody to see me, somebody to understand me, somebody to listen, somebody to be patient, somebody to help me navigate difficult times. And so, you didn't have those things, so you're stepping up trying to give it to yourself. And so here, when we're in this dichotomy, this dialogue of, I'm in pain, I don't know what to do, and 3-year-old steps up and says, well, we do things, and that'll get us the validation and acceptance. You can step up and say, it doesn't matter if people on the internet like our YouTube video or our Instagram video. That's not going to change or fix anything. Here, come, let me spend some time with you. And you don't need to spend a full day once a week doing that.
Yeah.
You can do it all throughout the day. You can spend 5 minutes 3 times a day doing it. I mean, that's 15 minutes out of your day. I don't know about you, but I spend way more time looking at stupid things on YouTube.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So what we say is, for 15 minutes a day, I'm going to make myself a priority, where I am important enough. I'm deserving. I'm good enough. I'm deserving of attention. I'm deserving of connection. And I'm going to give myself that. And, you can do it for those 3 times throughout the day, 5 minutes each time. But all throughout the day, you can just take a moment. You're going to the fridge, and instead of just opening the fridge and mindlessly scouring through it and grabbing whatever you want, you can take a minute and pay attention to that pain and say, I see you. I know you're still here. Come, let's get something to eat together. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you feeling there?
Sadness of a sort, but it's more of I wouldn't call it bittersweet, but something that is like, so part of me is trying to not judge myself for calling it kind of silly, but it's because that 3-year-old me was like, hey, yeah, he's right, like, listen to him. It's something that's like, I can tell that that's something that I definitely need to do, but that kind of comes with the whole factor of, but how do I put myself as a priority whenever I've been taught that other people come first, So
that's the default pattern. Again, is sacrifice myself to make other people happy. Because making other people happy, putting other people first, means that I can secure my relationships. So this is the default pattern. That was the choice that you made in childhood. You only had 2 options, right? If I express my emotions, it threatens my attachments. So I got to choose. Do I sacrifice my attachments, or do I sacrifice myself?
Oof.
You can't survive without your attachments, but you can survive by sacrificing your emotions, by sacrificing your own needs, by sacrificing your own expression, by sacrificing your own well-being. So there really is no choice here.
Yeah.
It was an adaptation. And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. An adaptation to survive.
Precisely. So what we do here is we keep noticing that. That adaptation, the judgment, the criticism, the evaluation, the punishment, self-punishment, all those things that you're doing to yourself, those are all adaptations. They're all trying to help you survive.
Yeah.
And so the way that we do this is we continuously practice making choices. So all throughout the day, you continuously practice making yourself a priority. You continuously make the choice to make yourself important. You continuously make the choice to pay attention to that feeling.
Yeah.
You continuously make the choice to try to be patient and accepting and understanding, rather than judging and criticizing. And I'm emphasizing the word practice here, because how old are you? What's your age?
Just turned 33. I had to think about
33.
that.
Yeah. So you've got 33 years of a deeply entrenched pattern. And so it's going to take a lot of practice to channel the energy of a new pattern down a different trench. So it's a continuous practice. We try to be gentle. We practice gentleness. We practice humor. We practice the joy. We practice being attuned and connected to what it is that we're going through.
Okay. So, I mean, and whenever I pictured that, for some reason, I just kind of imagine, instead of using a shovel to make a new waterway, you just kind of pour water on the path that you wanted to go on. Eventually, it erodes everything away, But yeah. I don't know. That was just the way my brain went for some reason.
Usually when you pour water on something, it just kind of makes its own paths.
Yeah.
It's the way I see it. And we're trying to very consciously create something new.
Yeah.
Something that's in line with you and what you really need. And maybe the water will flow down that path on its own. Or you can continuously do the new thing, and that will let the water flow through it.
Okay. Ugh. I know I've got a lot of work I need to do. And I think I need to have conversations with you outside of having a podcast interview.
Yeah. Of course.
But I mean, real quick, where can people find you? Because I know that we're at this juncture of the episode, which I can't believe we're actually this far into it. But for everyone out there, where can they find you?
My website's great, psychedelic-integration.net, or Instagram's great, psyche integration, just one word.
Okay.
Those are two fantastic spots.
Sweet. Well, I'm going to make sure that we have all of that in the episode description with this, because holy cow, like, I needed this conversation a lot sooner, but I can't beat myself up for that, and that's kind of the hard thing, right? It's one of the... So how do you stop someone? How do you direct someone to not judge themselves for trying to not judge themselves? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you got it from your parents. You got the judgment, the criticism, the evaluation, the punishment, so on, and that created a tremendous amount of pain. But then you're also beating yourself up for doing the thing that you learned, so you're getting it from both ends. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to continuously practice being kind to yourself for doing the thing that you learned to do. When you're a kid, you can only make sense of your world by modeling what your parents are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, from a neuroscience perspective, this is really well understood, is that children model their parents. Dan Siegel calls this interpersonal neurobiology. And what he means by this is that on a biological level, like your nervous system developing, it is literally downloading the information from your parents, or from the mature, regulated nervous system that's in your environment. But what happens when your parents or your caregivers don't have a mature, regulated nervous system? What happens when they have these exact same patterns of pain? That's what you download. That's what your nervous system, that's what your default patterns develop into. So instead of trying to say like, oh, I judge myself, I beat myself up, maybe that's true. We could also say, I inherited a pattern of beating me up. I inherited a pattern of judging myself. I learned this from somewhere. And that's only one choice. I can do something else. I'm judging myself again. There's that familiar pattern. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Gosh, you guys really got it bad from your parents, didn't you? Oh, man, this pattern goes through all the generations, doesn't it? Yeah, okay, I'm going to do something different. So it's a constant practice of recognizing when we're in it, and then saying, there it is again. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. How'd you get here so fast? I see you're trying to help me, but no, thank you. I don't need that. I'm going to try and do this.
And then that's whenever we introduce the new thing that we're trying to do, and not just beat myself up, right?
Precisely. So we recognize that we're doing it. We accept that we're doing it. Again, if we deny that we're doing it,
the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that acceptance that you needed, that patience, we're going to try and do that. And then we say, okay, where did I learn this pattern from? Yeah, it goes back to my childhood. I learned it from Mom and Dad. What did I really need? And now I'm going to try and nurture myself with those things that I really needed.
This obviously does not happen overnight, or in a week, 2 months, 3 years necessarily. Like you said earlier, I have 33 years I got to work on, and that's just one area, and that there's no real telling like how much it's going to actually take, right?
You know, honestly, I think that we spend the rest of our lives constantly exercising these new practices. And, you know, I can't think of anything that's more worthwhile than to change a pattern that's been handed through numerous generations, so many that we can't count, that landed right here in front of us. We have the choice, the opportunity to change a lineage that has gone for who knows how long, hundreds, thousands of years, maybe even more, and has landed right here, right now. And we can make a direct change in what the next generation and the following generation inherits. So we literally change not just our own lives, but we can change a major way of how people interact with this world. So I can't think of anything else that's more important than to spend the rest of our lives really trying to change these patterns.
Oof. I love what you just said, because it really made it tangible for me, that saying of generational trauma, because it really is something that just gets passed down and unknowingly from one to the other. And hopefully it's unknowingly, right? Hopefully someone doesn't know what they're knowingly doing to their children to traumatize them. But that's things that we can do different. We can do better for ourselves. We can do better for those around us, but it does take a lot of work. And I'm not afraid to call it work if it means that it's going to help make the world a better place in the end, you know. But at the same time, I think that I can be proud of that work, and that's work worth doing, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know, I mean, look at something trivial like playing guitar or playing another instrument like drums. I play both of them. And sometimes I get on my guitar and I need to work. I need to practice a specific movement, a specific scale, a specific technique, whatever it is. And it's work. And then my ability to do my craft of making these sounds that tell stories increases exponentially. And so, yeah, it's dedication to your own craft of who you are. And that is work. And, you know, for so long, that was what human cultures looked like, is dedication to your craft. And we got so disconnected from that, from all of these patterns of trauma. So, yeah, it's a recovery of your own empowerment, your own ability to have agency and choice over the type of life that you live and the person that you are.
Ooh, I really, really, really like the way that you just put that too, because holy cow, you got away with words, man.
Thank you.
I've just got to say that I want everyone to recognize that they're capable of being better for themselves, because that's where this really starts, right? We can't be better for other people if we're not better for ourselves first.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a plane going overhead or a helicopter going overhead. I live in Portland, Oregon, so there's constant helicopters over my house these days. And when you're on a plane, they always tell you the same thing: secure your mask before assisting others. Because if the plane starts going down and you're fiddling around trying to help everybody else out and you pass out, everybody's out of luck. So you got to put your mask on. You got to take care of yourself. Everybody always thinks that I want to change the world. So much in the world is suffering right now. So many things are falling apart. We don't have to look very far to see it. And so we want to go out in the world and we want to make changes. And we have to ask, why do so many ideologies, so many intentions that are well-meaning, designed to propagate love, acceptance, and community, always end up hurting people? Well, because most of the times we have hurt, traumatized people acting out their traumas in the guise of helping people. So if you really want to see a different world, you have to follow what almost every spiritual teacher has said throughout the ages: work on yourself first.
I think that is something that we can all really take and hold close and dear to our hearts, and work on ourselves, because that, I think, is the best service that we can do for the world, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah. A lot of teachers say that the world changes naturally, inevitably, when you change yourself. So that's the goal.
I love that. Julian, I do hate this because we are at the end of this episode, but I do trust that we can see you on in the future, correct?
Of course.
Awesome, because I'm going to probably make myself look like a fool again by crying on camera, but I think it's all well worth it, because if I can do it, then other people can do it in the safety of their own home, and they don't have to have someone recording them. So.
Yeah, and we can recognize when we're judging ourselves and calling ourselves fools and say, next time around, I can have emotions and I'm entitled to it and it'll be okay.
See, and that was me trying to be easy on myself too.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Anyways, I'll work on it, and maybe my self-talk will be better around next time, and we'll figure out if I've made improvement in that. What do you think that our next conversation could be geared towards if we just uncovered this kind of wound within myself, and how other people can work towards their similar wounds in that regard?
Yeah, it's hard to say. A lot of the times these conversations just kind of take shape by what's happening. They're it's like a living, breathing thing, and whatever wants to come up comes up. Like I didn't plan for this at all, and I didn't know that we were going to talk about any of this, and it just kind of comes up.
Yeah.
But what we could do is we could do the practice rather than talking about it. And we did a lot of identifying, but we can actually practice doing those things that you really needed that you didn't get, and I think that could be useful for a lot of people to see.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like an awesome thing, because first conversation was really just trying to figure out who you are and how you help everyone else. And then this one, unfortunately, I had to sit there and just dig myself a hole.
Unfortunately.
But I think in the end it was amazing, because we got this awesome conversation and I got something out of it. I know that everyone else is going to get something out of it. But Julian, I just got to say thank you very much for being on the show again. And I hope that, we just speak soon.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. And one last thing I'll say is I have free groups that I do multiple times throughout the week, or throughout the month. I'm sorry. I usually do them weekly, bi-weekly. So they're free and they're available to anybody who wants to come through. So if anybody's listening and they're like, oh, I'd love some support, but I can't deal with finances or things like that, those are all just that self-talk that's depriving ourselves of the support. So you said earlier that you were heading towards a breakdown and you didn't know what to do, but you can always ask for support. And I think that's what a lot of people are in, and that asking for help can be really difficult. So that's why I have lots of free ways for people to get involved and to show up and participate, where there's nothing to do other than sign up and show up.
Awesome. Thank you very much for highlighting that, Julian, because I know I'll be taking part of it, and I hope other people out there do as well. I can't wait to figure out the practices that we're going to do next time and then go from there. So, Julian, thank you very much again for being on Retrieving Sanity. And everyone else out there, thank you for listening to Retrieving Sanity on WDJY 99.1 FM. And as always, love yourself, love others if you can, but you gotta love yourself first. And also, if you are experiencing a crisis of any sort, dial 988. It could save your life. And with that being said, much love. Shalom.